People of the internet, welcome back to another video. It is I, Don Thomas, back in here with another one. As always, folks, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support on this channel. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's topic, folks. Got a video pulled up. It comes from a gentleman by the name of Chris Williamson. Familiar with this man? I follow him on social media, of course on YouTube here as well too. And he's having a conversation with another gentleman that's from YouTube, goes by the name of Deep Creek Dewayne. We'll get into this conversation. Of course, they titled the video, "What Do Women Not Understand About Men?" Of course, this is a topic that I like to dabble in from time to time on this channel. Of course, I'm trying to do a lot better of diversifying my palette. So of course, I wanted to get some insight from this gentleman's perspective in terms of what women are just not understanding about us men. Ladies, sometimes I feel like it's you guys that are, pretty headstrong about, oh, men are this, men are that. Men are dogs. Men are not emotional enough. Men don't open up enough, this, that, and the other. Get some context from this gentleman here and his opinion as to why men are the way they are and what you women are just not understanding about us men. Of course, I'll share my thoughts. I'll encourage you guys to share your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let's get into it.
What do you wish more women knew about how men operated?
There's 10,000 times more going on inside the head of a man than you have any idea. He's carrying burdens that you don't have a clue about. And he don't know how to express them, and he don't know what to do about it, and he figures if he puts it out there and communicates it, he's just going to be shot down, called a fool, called weak, so he carries it inside, and you have no clue the burdens and the hell that most men are carrying inside and not even showing you. I wish more women understood that.
Yeah, it's a strange problem, I think, of the modern discussion around men and why they're struggling, that a lot of the solutions that get put forward, a lot of the only acceptable solutions that get put forward are, if only you acted less like a man, all of your problems would go away. That men are treated like defective women as opposed to treated like work in progress men.
The average man, I believe, the average real man, does not need to go get therapy for the battles and the burdens he's carrying inside. What he needs is for those that he's carrying them for to recognize that they're there and to respect it and to be grateful for it. They don't need to talk it out to get rid of it. They need the one that they're going through this hell for to recognize it's there and to be grateful that the man is carrying this for them. They don't need therapy. They need gratitude.
Just pause it right there real quick. Powerful statement. Of course, guys, as you know, I typically don't watch these videos in their entirety before recording these videos and here while I'm recording it with you guys as well too. I typically see a title, see a thumbnail. I'll probably watch the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds just to see, what the scene is, make sure it's not no foolery. And then for the most part, of course, we react to it together. So, like I said, I am familiar with this gentleman. Both these gentlemen, of course, I've seen them loosely on social media. This gentleman here, he does have a YouTube channel that's, of course, devoted to conversations just like this, men's development, things of that nature. Very interesting take. I think we hear this narrative a lot in terms of just like the plight of the man, right? The things that men are going through that, ladies, y'all may not even understand. Hell, some men may not even understand amongst themselves what, man to man, brother to brother may be going through, man. And I think there's a lot of reasons as to why that is. Now, he made a very interesting point. Okay, so he said two things that kind of jumped out to me, of course, which the first, of course, which I'm mostly familiar with, of course. Again, the video is entitled, "What Do Women Not Understand About Men?" This gentleman says, women don't understand that us men have 10,000 things going on through our minds at any given moment. And the weight that can come with that, you guys just don't understand. That's a narrative that we hear a lot, of course, more culturally, social media, things of that nature, is that us men, of course, the burdens that you usually hear, we are the protectors, we are the providers, we are the one who, goes downstairs if there's a rumbling in the night or breaking in the middle of the night. It's us that carries on the brunt of the challenges within this human experience. Let's just keep it real. Again, if we're speaking just towards, traditional standards, traditional norms between man and woman, yeah, from the beginning of time, it has been us men that have been the hunters, right? The hunters, the ones that go out, protect, hunt, kill, bring back. And then women, of course, again, speak to traditional terms, are expected to be the nurturers and things of that nature. So as a man, again, this is inclusive of some other topics that I spoke about on this channel a lot as well too. We've been hearing about the rise in loneliness within men. We've been hearing about the rise in, I guess for both men and women, not being able to find, significant companionship, whether it be through marriage, girlfriends, whatever the case is. So I feel like there are a lot of burdens that the man carries and a lot of expectations that are put upon the man that a lot of us carry a lot more better than others. Some carry it well, some men don't carry it as well. I hear a saying that I usually typically agree with a lot on social media as well too, where you'll see things that, a man is only loved on what he can provide. The moment he's unable to provide, he's no longer loved. I guess that's his main purpose. I guess some people see is just like he's only valued based off of what he can provide. The only value of man in society, a lot of us feel like that is, appreciation is given to is based upon what he can provide. The second a man can't provide, he's immediately, I guess, looked at in society's eyes as invaluable. So that's the one thing that he said. Another thing he said, of course, as well too, in this gentleman's opinion, he said men don't need therapy. This gentleman says men don't need therapy. In his opinion, he believes men don't need therapy. He believes it's the people around the men. So whether it be his children, whether it be his wife, whether it be his friends, whether it be his boss at work, it's the people around the man that should have a little bit more gratitude and a little bit more understanding that could maybe alleviate the burdens of what that man may be going through. That statement in itself, I see what he's saying. Do I agree? I think therapy could be, when done correctly, because of course you hear a lot of the times therapy is trial and error. Take some time to, find the right therapist to go have a conversation with. I do think there are benefits in therapy. I myself haven't necessarily gone to therapy. Like I've talked to people, like I guess just regular like consultations or thing like that, but I've never gone to actual therapy. So I'm gonna kind of disagree with him a little bit there in that sense, in terms of saying that men shouldn't go at all. I think what works for you may work for the next person, may not work for the next person. So I've heard people commonly boast about how well therapy was for them, and I've heard other people on the spectrum as well too that also agree that therapy doesn't do much. I feel like it is case by case. But I will agree with him in the statement of saying, man, the people around the man, right, should just be a little bit more aware of what the man is going through. Fellas, even amongst ourselves, you know how hard it is. That's why a lot of the times, man, when I come across other dudes, you always hear a lot of the times men have egos and men, this, that, and the other. A lot of the times, man to man, I give a lot of dudes grace because I know what we're up against. A lot of the times, it's like comparisons. This guy's looking at that guy, or this guy's maybe jealous of this guy, maybe how his life is panned out, man. It's just like, bro, at the end of the day, I know, just speaking as a man, I know what you had to go through to some degree. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like, fellas, amongst ourselves, to this gentleman's point as well, too, let's give each other a little bit more grace, bro. Maybe some of us were, fortunate enough to climb the ladder in this game of life a little bit more sooner, or maybe some of us, or have access to resources, or just, certain areas of life that, heighten that man's status, whether it be financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever the case is, and some men do not. I think there's just a lot of classism within this world, right? I feel like it's a lot of levels, and again, maybe that's just society, right? I'm not saying it's necessarily a wrong thing, but let's give each other grace, knowing that as a man, on top of the pressures that society's already going to throw at us, let's not add more pressure amongst ourselves, bro. I've seen so many situations, man, where dudes have busted into tears. Dudes just needed a hug. Dudes just needed to just be heard as a man. Because maybe you're, maybe getting up there in age and you haven't maybe checked off the boxes of certain accolades that you maybe set out for yourself, and society's telling you that you should have had these things taken care of, what the case is. And that's a lot of pressure within itself. I even tell people a lot of times, well, too, man, some of the greatest battles I ever faced were all internal. There weren't anything outside of me. Some of the greatest battles I've ever encountered in this life, the greatest struggles, the darkness and depression and this, that, and the other, everything the hardest challenges I've ever had to overcome in my life were all in my head. And there's a lot of people you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even have known. You see what I'm saying? So I could resonate with this conversation a lot in terms of just, again, the plight of the man, and what women don't understand. Now let's, more specifically towards this video. Ladies, man, like, understand this. Be a little bit more compassionate with these dudes, man, that are trying. I'm not talking about the dudes that are kicking up their feet, twiddling their thumbs, I'm not talking about them. You can, I feel like society, again, give everybody grace, but for the men that are trying to keep that roof over your head, to see to it that maybe a vacation or your birthday's coming up or whatever the case is, you know, it's the holiday season now, Christmas, this, that, and the other. Give that man a little bit of grace. If you see him working hard, especially if he's a black man, you know what I'm saying? You know, we know the plight of the African-American male in this country, the minority male in this country. But widely speaking, generally speaking, man, just men in general, some of us got it figured out, some of us do not. Ladies, man, give that man a little bit of grace. He's doing the best that he can in most situations, man, to, again, whether you're already married, whether there's a man that's trying to court you, take you out, get to know you. Some of y'all dismiss dudes that you don't even know what it took. You don't even know what it took to muster up the strength or the courage or the resources to be able to show you a good time. You know, slide in that DM or whatever the case is. I'm not saying you can't have your standards. Yeah, we all have our standards and this, that, and the other, the things that you're willing to entertain and the things that you're not willing to entertain. But ladies, man, like, again, from ladies in relation to men and then just men amongst ourselves, let's give each other a little bit more grace, bro. Especially around this holiday time, man. Those of us who, you know, I've heard stories about people who, you know, have seasonal depression, you know, around this time. And there's this holidays and season. A lot of the times we always think it's a joyous season. Oh, it's Christmas time. It's jolly, jolly time. It's not that. That's not the situation for a lot of people. For some people, this is the worst time of the year. Let's just keep it real. A lot of us are under depression just because it's holiday season and you got your Christmas carols going and, oh, you know, it's cold out now and, oh, holiday season, this, that, gifts, that. A lot of the times, this is a stressful time for a lot of people. So let's not be under the impression that all of us are in the spirit of Christmas joy. That's not necessarily the case. Again, I like what the brother said in this video, man. It's just like, man, the people around the man should be well aware. Again, whether that's his kids, his wife, his girlfriend, his boss, his friends. Be aware, man, that some of us are fighting battles you have no idea about, man. And then on the flip of that, fellas, find those spaces, find those outlets where you are vocal as to the things that you're going through. Because if, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. If you're sitting there struggling and getting your ass whooped internally with whatever it is that you're going through and you say nothing, that's not good either. There's resources out here, man, that people are not, you know, I would honestly say that people are overlooking in terms of just like what's out here in terms of getting help. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you're battling monsters, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that, I chuckle when saying that because I've swung swords with monsters internally, you know, within myself. So it's just like, if you're a man that's battling things and you're just quiet, yeah, there's certain spaces where you, again, society has made it where it's just like, you might not feel as comfortable or open to the idea of speaking to somebody, whatever the case is, but that doesn't mean those spaces don't exist at all. It doesn't mean those spaces, and again, if you don't have the resources to go get therapy and this, that, and the other, man, find a safe outlet where somebody knows what you're going through. Because again, I don't see how you're planning on getting out of that situation if it's all internal. If you're not at the drawing boards within, you know, a few brothers or, you know, somebody, your parents, somebody, there has to be at least somebody that knows what you're going through. Because how else are you going to find that solution to whatever it is that you're going through if nobody knows you're going through it? So again, it's accountability on all fronts. It's accountability, again, like this gentleman said, for the people that's around the man. And it's accountability for the man himself to take the necessary steps to get out of that rut. You see what I'm saying? So I like this video. I like this video a lot. Shout out to Chris Williamson. Shout out to this brother again as well too. Of course, I'll leave the link down to the video in my description, of course, where you can watch this in its entirety. If conversations like this interest you, of course, you can check them out. Of course, these are things that I like to talk about on this channel as well too. Things that we should all be mindful of, folks. It's not all fun and games out here. Let's stop thinking that everybody's up and everybody's bank account is healthy and everybody's happy and joyous. It's not really jolly like that for a lot of people. You understand? So let's be a little bit more compassionate about the struggles that specifically, I guess, men, but just people in general may be going through, because just because your life is a certain way doesn't mean that is the case for everybody else. Questions, comments, concerns, of course, leaving it down in the comment section below. Those are my thoughts. I want to hear yours down in the comment section. As always, the likes, the comments, the subscribes are all greatly appreciated. I will catch you on the next one.